Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Cranky Pundit podcast. I'm your host, Mike Morgan, the Cranky Pundit, and today we continue our series of the most underrated players in footballing history. Before we start, if you could give our YouTube channel a like and subscribe, it's only a baby getting off the ground, we would really appreciate it. So today's underrated player is Irishman Ian Harte. Ian Harte was born in Drogheda in 1977 and played underage for St. Kevin's Boys, who have produced the likes of Robbie Brady, Liam Brady, Damien Duff, Jeff Hendrick, Stephen Carr and current Brighton player Evan Ferguson. After impressing underage, Harte joined Drogheda United before moving to Home Farm. Both of these teams are in the League of Ireland. He joined Leeds in 1995, playing 9 seasons alongside fellow Republic of Ireland international and uncle Gary Kelly. Kelly made 52 appearances for his country and is the only Leeds player to make over 500 appearances outside the stewardship of legendary manager Don Revie. Harte was a stalwart in the Leeds United defence, which in my opinion was the best Leeds United team for the past 30 years. In the 99-2000 season, he helped Leeds reach the semi-final of the Europa League, playing 12 games and scoring 1 goal along the way. The following season, which was the most successful campaign in recent decades for the club, Harte and his team made the last 4 of the Champions League, playing 17 games and scoring 3 goals in the competition. That is amazing for a left back. During his time at Leeds, Harte was known for his free kicks, even scoring 3 set pieces at Highbury 3 years in a row. Unsurprisingly, his free kick to goal ratio is one of the best the Premier League has ever seen, boasting better stats than boy wonder David Beckham. At his peak, he was one of the most sought-after left-backs in Europe, and had he played in today's modern style, I'm sure he would be matching the goals and assists that modern-day full-backs produce, like Trent Alexander-Arnold and João Cancelo. Poetically, Harte's form and fortune was synonymous with the club's success and failures. During his later years at the Yorkshire club, his goals started to dry up and his pace began to be exposed by younger and faster wingers. In fact, he only scored 1 goal, which was a penalty against Portsmouth in his final season with Leeds. And they were famously relegated to the Championship, where they would lie dormant for the best part of 20 years. Leeds were in financial turmoil and were forced to sell their best assets. He left Leeds for Levante that summer. Despite rumours earlier in his career that clubs including Barcelona and AC Milan were willing to offer 11 million for Harte, it was newly promoted Levante that sealed the left-back's signature. Harte scored the club's first top-flight goal in 41 years. No prizes for guessing that it was indeed a free kick that he scored against Real Sociedad to rescue a point. Harte suffered a groin injury in January that sidelined him for the remainder of that season. It was clear that Levante were a different animal with the Irishman in their side. They were as high as 5th place in La Liga before Harte's injury and managed to be relegated after his injury, suffering a final day defeat to Villarreal to banish the underdogs to the 2nd division. The following season, Harte and Levante enjoyed huge success. He scored 9 goals in all competitions and Levante were promoted to the La Liga, first time of asking. In his second attempt of survival in La Liga, Harte suffered a bad injury and struggled to regain his place on his return to the side. Levante finished 15th and the fullback decided to return to the Premier League once again, with his Mediterranean experience being all in all a massive success. On the 29th of August 2007, Harte joined forces with former Republic of Ireland teammate Roy Keane. However, this was not a good moment for him and he was transfer listed just 4 months later. His career seemed to be doomed. During the 2008 summer, he had trials at Wolves, Sheffield United and Charlton. But he was rejected or offered a poor month-by-month contract, which in the beginning seemed insulting, and he even contemplated retirement. Eventually, he signed for Blackpool on a risky month-by-month contract, which Ian realised was the only type of contract that would be offered to an injury-prone 32-year-old fullback. It got worse for the veteran, as he only made 4 appearances for Blackpool and his contract was terminated by mutual consent in February 2009. Harte dropped another tier and joined Carlisle United in League One to try prove he could still offer something to a professional club in his mid-30s. Harte got man of the match in his first game and scored a free kick in his second. His man-of-the-match performance on the final day helped secure a dramatic final day escape, and the big man earned himself a 2-year contract to silence all the doubters. And most of all, proving himself after a series of rejections. Resilient man indeed. And it gets better. He finished the 09-010 season as the club's top goal scorer, scoring 18 goals. Can I remind you, this guy is a left back. 18 goals. I don't care what division you're playing in. He also was selected in the 09-10 League One Team of the Year. On the 31st of August 2010, Championship club Reading offered him the chance of a step up and another 2-year deal, showing that Harte's decision not to retire was justified. He scored from the spot on his debut against Crystal Palace, and on his 4th appearance scored a stunning 30-yard free kick against Barnsley. Playing in a new centre mid position occasionally, Harte helped his side on a playoff push, scoring more vital goals and even named March's Championship Player of the Month. Reading did not get promoted that season, but he was named in the Championship Team of the Year following the same achievement in League One the previous season. Harte was part of the defence that held Old Club Leeds United to consecutive 0-0 draws at Elland Road and the Medeski, being applauded by both sets of fans throughout the 2 games, something I'm sure very few players ever get to experience. And again, he was named in the Championship Team of the Year 2 years running, scoring 10 goals that season in the Championship. This man is a left back. I'm going to keep reminding, he is a left back, folks. In the 11-12 season, it gets even better, as our man of the moment was named in the Team of the Year again, 3 years running, and helped Reading gain promotion to the promised land of the Premier League. I bet Charlton Athletic feel pretty silly offering this man a 2-month contract. Then again, it's the same club that sacked Alan Kirbishley because 8th place in the Premier League wasn't deemed good enough for the London side, and the Premier League hasn't seen or heard of them since. But that's nor here nor there. Harte returned to his final last dance with the Premier League, a mere pipe dream a few years previous. The then 37-year-old made 16 appearances, providing 3 assists in what was a poor season for the newly promoted side, and ended up finishing 19th. Harte took to Twitter to announce his retirement, but 2 months later, Championship side Bournemouth requested his services on a 1-year deal, scoring his only goal for the club with a 30-yard screamer versus Birmingham City. The 38-year-old veteran impressed the Cherries enough to hand him another 1-year deal, 8 years after contemplating retirement in League One. His final season as a professional was a huge success, where he guided Bournemouth to promotion to the Premier League, where they stayed for 6 seasons. Harte retired, for real this time. Internationally, Ian Harte is a legend in the Republic of Ireland. He was the only player to play every minute of every game in the 2002 World Cup qualifiers, scoring a crucial penalty against Iran in a playoff. Harte was unfortunate to be the one to miss the penalty in normal time versus Spain in the last 16 of the World Cup in Korea and Japan 2002. Although after further inspection, more of the blame should lie with Kevin Kilben, who missed a rebound from 6 yards out and the keeper on the ground. But I'm not holding on to it or anything, just that the whole nation of Ireland thought we had a chance of winning the World Cup even after Roy Keane's sudden departure from Saipan. Ireland went on to lose on penalties and have never been at a World Cup since, although Thierry Henry's left hand has a big part to play in Ireland's 21-year World Cup drought. Harte, all in all, had a wonderful international career, despite the emergence of a young John O'Shea during the Brian Kerr era. He made 66 appearances and scored 12 goals. His international career ended on a sour note, which is the note Giovanni Trapattoni loved to play in his time at Ireland, stating in 2011 that he didn't realise Ian Harte was Irish or even eligible to play for Ireland, despite him being in fine form for Reading and in the Championship Team of the Year at that time. Harte remains involved in football as an agent and represents a few Leeds youngsters. And I'm sure even the players he represents underrate the career this man had, scoring a free kick versus Deportivo La Coruña in the quarter-final of the Champions League aged 23, to being chewed up and spat out by Charlton Athletic at the age of 31. His talent in his younger years is unquestionable, but perhaps the most admirable thing about Ian Harte, in my humble opinion, is when all the talent started to fade and injuries began to build up, and negativity rearing its ugly head every time a club would show interest. He grinned his teeth, rolled up his sleeves, and like a Rocky movie, climbed his way back up the leagues to be a Premier League footballer in his late 30s. Thank you, Ian, for all the memories. You will be remembered by the majority for your free kicks, but to me, you will be remembered for your perseverance and your never say die attitude, which, like every football fan, is what we look for in our sporting idols. Thanks for listening to the podcast, folks. Please comment below who you think should be next in our underrated series, and please don't forget to like and subscribe. This is a brand new channel. I would really appreciate it. Peace and love, guys. Peace and love.